Some time ago, a guy that lives in a state that looks like a giant oven mitt decided to start his own podcast. He's cooler than you. His favorite pizza topping is pineapple because he knows it makes you angry. This is CuJo's Corner. So before we get started with today's podcast, I'd like to first talk about my buddy Daniel DeRay of Mystic Heroes Theater. If you guys remember a while back, I interviewed Daniel on the podcast when the Mystic Heroes Theater play Don't Feed the Sandworms, a parody of Dune, was going to be premiering on their YouTube channel. Well, they're coming back with another play. This one is called Captain Henry and the Justice Court. It is going from July 1st through July 3rd. And if you guys would like to donate money to the Mystic Heroes Venmo to help fund the play, I will have a link to that in the description below. Definitely be sure to help them out. Support independent art. I'm very big on that. And with all that said, let's get started on the podcast. How's it going, everyone? Justin Crumley here with the CuJo Productions channel, back again with another edition of CuJo's Corner. It's been a little bit since I've made one of these. I've been working on another project, and it's been kind of eating up a lot of my time. So, plus the sports world as a whole just kind of slowed down. I mean, I just didn't really feel like there was much for me to talk about. I've also been thinking about maybe making some changes on this podcast. So I guess that's the first topic that I'll get into. I'll probably give it its own little topic, even though I don't think I'll spend too much time talking about it. So yeah, in essence, I kind of took a break from doing this because I've been working on another project that is in the works. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to say that I'm working on another project. I didn't really feel like there was much for me to talk about. And as for the changes, it's plain and simple. I think instead of trying to fill up an entire podcast on current events going on with my personal favorite teams, I might try to cover more things that just personally interest me as far as sports go. I will slip in maybe some movies here and there, maybe get a quick mention of something I'm, maybe a TV show I'm watching or something. But this podcast is still going to remain more sports oriented. It's just going to be, rather than filling up the entire show with current events, I'm thinking I might incorporate other things like historical moments involving my favorite teams, or maybe from my own perspective or whatever. Just kind of making this more a little personal, but still sticking to the sports themes. So I don't know if that's really a major announcement or anything. To be honest, I'm not going to list it as a major announcement or anything. Just some small changes to the channel. So if you're gonna be looking for my word on current sports events, you may be disappointed going forward, but it is what it is. With all that said, let's get into the first topic today. So I've said before on this channel, in some capacity, that I don't think Michigan is in a very good spot as far as their football program goes. I've said before that they need to do actual NIL. I know I think a few weeks ago I reported something about them doing NIL, but it's not really NIL, but I've said before, Michigan needs to adapt. They need to evolve. They need to start hitting the transfer portal. They need to start providing. They need to start doing NIL for their students, their student athletes, whatever. Um, I don't know what the consensus on that with all Michigan fans is. Typically, when it comes to anything involving Michigan State, a lot of Michigan fans tend to not take Michigan State very serious. Now, speaking as a Michigan fan, I think that's disrespectful. But I'm not here to talk about, oh, you need to respect them more. Oh, no. I'm here to provide more evidence that Michigan needs to adapt and evolve. So, this was about, what's today, the 21st? This was about 9 days ago, so a little over a week ago. This is an article from Christopher Breiler. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Either way, my apologies. So this is from Wolverine Digest, which is a part of Fan Nation. I'm not subscribed to this or anything, but anyway, this article popped up on my news feed. I believe it was on Yahoo Sports is where I found this, but anyway, the title of the article, and I'll post it in the description below in case you guys don't want to listen to me talk about it. So it says, "Is Tuck coming? The Spartans have gone all in on NIL and have hit a bit of a hot streak on the recruiting trail as of late. But should Michigan fans be worried about what's happening in East Lansing?" Now, I'll admit, when I first read that, I thought this guy was going to go the route of, like, a typical Michigan, fan, be like, oh, we shouldn't be worried, like, oh, look at Michigan State, look at them taking pictures with cars, and I'll get to that in just a second here, but anyway, going on to read the article, it says, "As a Michigan fan, I find myself extremely, conflicted in writing this. On one hand, I absolutely hate, and I mean hate, this guy's words, not mine for the record, the Michigan State Spartans. On the other hand, I can't help but look at what MSU head football coach Mel Tucker, 2-0 against rival Michigan, is doing on the recruiting trail and feel a bit nervous. For what it's worth, I absolutely agree with him on this part about Mel Tucker. Like, I really do think as Michigan fans, like, guys, he's 2-0 against us. Like, can we stop making fun of this guy and acting like he's like, oh, he's not serious and we shouldn't take him serious and brrr. Guys, he's 2-0 against us. Like, yeah. And I know this past game was like, oh, look at all those bad calls. Doesn't matter. They won. We gave up all those yards and 5 touchdowns to Kenneth Walker. So, what do you want from me? 2-0 against Michigan. Need to start taking this guy serious. Sorry, moving on. Over the last week, and again, this article came out a little over a week ago, so this would have been like a couple of weeks ago. The Spartans have signed 3 4-star recruits. Jordan Hall, linebacker, Chance Rucker, cornerback, and Demetrius Bell. It says ATH. I'm going to sound stupid, but I have no idea what that actually means. So if somebody in the comment section could correct me on that, I would actually appreciate it. Thank you. The latest round of commitments gives the Spartans a total of 9 in the 2023 class, including 6 4-star recruits and 3 3-star recruits. Their latest success on the trail has put MSU's 2023 recruiting class at number 14 overall, according to 247 Sports. 24/7 Sports, excuse me. As a comparison, the Wolverines are off to a bit of a sluggish start with their 2023 class, an unexpected reality following a championship season. In addition to landing some high-caliber players who were also once considering rival Michigan, MSU has seemingly jumped headfirst into the world of NIL benefits for their student athletes, while Michigan still appears resistant to fully embracing its power. Guys, I'm going to read that to you one more time. In addition to landing some high-caliber players who were also once considering rival Michigan. Are you angry yet? MSU has seemingly jumped headfirst into the world of NIL benefits for their student athletes, while Michigan still appears resistant to fully embracing its power. Just within the last week, and again, this is over a week ago, Tucker, wearing a gold chain with a dog pendant, say what you will about that, whatever, has been photographed hosting a large group of recruits inside of Spartan Stadium, posing with a Ferrari, G-Wagon, and a Bentley. Now, to be fair, none of the students actually get those cars, but I mean, like, the whole point is, like, they're flashing some of the money. They're flashing around some of the money that they do have, which I haven't really looked into, but from what I gather is coming from, like, former alumni. Guys, Michigan State is putting together something special. You guys do realize that even if Mel Tucker ends up leaving for an NFL gig in a couple of years, or maybe a higher paying coaching job in college, you guys do realize that this whole thing that he is starting is not going to leave. It's just not. Michigan is falling behind. And not just in, the whole NIL transfer portal thing, but look, guys, a school that most of our fan base makes fun of, like, they're doing what they can, and they're putting together something special. Now, I'm going to continue to read the article. Okay, so it says, though some may chalk it all up as silly antics by a grown man taking pictures in front of rental cars, the reality is that it seems to be working on the recruiting trail and on the football field. So what type of impact, if any, will Tucker's latest success have on what's happening in Ann Arbor? That's a question that the article is posing. So I do want to say, like, anybody that tries to make fun of Mel Tucker for this, guys, do keep in mind, like, are we really going to act like Harbaugh's not kind of a clown himself? Like, I'll admit, I was wrong about Harbaugh this past season, but the dude's a bit of a clown. And I don't need to get into the garbage that he pulled this past offseason. Just trust me when I say it. This is all leading up to everything I was talking about leading into this topic. So, anyway, over the last 20 years, against Michigan State, Michigan's 10-10. And over the last 10 years, we're 4-6. Michigan State has actually won more games the last 10 years. They're 6-4 against Michigan. And in the last 20 years, we're dead even. We're 500 against them. It is, and I realize that Mel Tucker hasn't been at Michigan State that entire time, but, besides the point. Over the last 20 years against Ohio State, are you guys ready for this? 3-17. 2-8 in the last 10 years. Guys, it is time for Michigan football to evolve. I've been saying it forever. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I haven't really heard anything coming out of Michigan as far as NIL. Well, besides that, diet NIL essentially, where they allow their students to make money through other businesses, but no word on the transfer portal. Yeah. What's that saying? You either evolve or you wither off and die. Well, that's Michigan right now. Michigan football needs to evolve or it's going to weather off and die. I don't want to see that happen. I don't think any other Michigan fan out there wants to see that happening. But guys, it's the less serious we take Michigan State, the less serious we take Ohio State, the more they're going to beat us. It's just plain and simple. So I'm really happy to hear from another Michigan fan this article. Again, I'll have it linked in the description below. If you guys want to read it, I am nervous for what Mel Tucker is putting together at Michigan State. I am. Just keeping it real, guys. I'm nervous. So, with that said, we're going to move on to the last topic for tonight. I know this one's pretty short. Kind of a short one, but just trust me. I'm going to kind of play lawyer for you guys, and I'm going to make a case. So this one is for the Tigers fans out there. I pose a very simple question. Is it time to fire Avila? I say it is. Now, I'm just a Tigers fan, and I'm not going to hand you any talking points. Oh, no. I've got numbers. Now, there's 3 things I'm going to look at. Record under Avila, not counting 2015 because that's technically when he took over, but he took over late, so I'm not gonna give him any credit or whatever for that. His trades and his free agency signings. Now, I'm not gonna go over his draft picks because there's just way too much to go over. So, anyway, guys, real quick, let's go over the records. Starting in 2016, they were 86 and 75. They were second in the AL Central. I do believe they made the playoffs. I want to say they did, but I honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember. But yeah, that was 86 and 75. That was 2016. I really don't think I was paying too much attention at this point. So yeah. 2017, 64 and 98. They were last in the AL Central. 2018, once again, 64 and 98. Third in the AL Central. 2019, oh boy, 47 and 114. Let me repeat. 47 and 114. Yeah. 2020, they were 23 and 35. That was a shortened season due to COVID. Oh, it should go without say they were last in the AL Central in 2019, and in 2020, they were also last in the AL Central. And then there's last year, they were 77 and 85. They were third in the AL Central, and to be honest with you, yeah, they only did that because AJ Hinch, honestly, if you ask me. So, that's one aspect. I also said that I would take a look at some trades. Now, there are 3 that stand out. Actually, there's 2. Now, obviously, Avila has made other trades here and there. Anyway, so they've mostly fallen flat. For example, JD Martinez. When the Tigers traded him, I'll admit, I thought they should have. I thought they should have traded him at the time. Um, but what they got in return, I don't even think any of these guys are on the roster anymore. They got Joel Lugo, Sergio Alcantara, and Jose King. Again, I don't know if any of these guys are on the roster. Now, you could credit Avila with finding JD Martinez to begin with, but yeah, I don't care. It doesn't excuse the fact that the trade was awful. And like I said, I don't even think any of these guys are with the Tigers anymore. Then there was the Justin Verlander trade. Now, again, much like the JD Martinez trade, I was on board with this. I thought they were a losing team. Trading Verlander was the right thing to do. So, yeah, look, it isn't so much that they traded Verlander, it's what they got in return. Now, Daz Cameron was one of the players they got. He's alright. I mean, he's decent. He's not great. Kind of a platoon player. But you got rid of Justin Verlander for... You got rid of great. The guy only went on to win a World Series. Help win a World Series, I should say. Whatever. And as well as win another Cy Young with the Astros. You got rid of that for okay. Oh, they also got Franklin Perez and Jake Rogers. Now, Jake Rogers, I believe, is still on the roster. I think he got injured at the beginning of the year. I don't know where Franklin Perez is, if he's still with the Tigers or not. So, yeah, you got rid of a guy who would go on to win a ring and, say what you will about the whole cheating scandal, whatever. You got rid of Verlander, a guy who went on to win a Cy Young and help win a World Series. You got rid of him, and you got okay players in return, and one guy who hasn't even... I don't even know if the guy is on the roster anymore. One guy is injured, and the other one is a platoon player at best. Now, one could say, like, oh, he got Jeimer Candelario for Alex Avila and Justin Wilson. I'm sorry, he gave up Alex Avila and Justin Wilson for Jeimer Candelario. Well, yeah, Jeimer Candelario is alright. I mean, fine. But honestly, guys, this Al Avila has been the GM for 7 years. And his team is no closer now than they were before at even touching a World Series, let alone making the playoffs. This is not good. This is a failure on Al Avila's part. But I'm not done. I still got free agency to talk about. But last thing I'll say about Jeimer Candelario is he's alright. He's not great. He hasn't really been a superstar at all. Al Avila is not hitting on these trades. Let's move on to the free agency, because most of his signings have fallen flat. I'll go over the big signings from this year, besides Andrew Chafin. To be honest, I don't really have anything to say about Andrew Chafin. The guys I want to talk about are Eduardo Rodriguez, Javier Baez, and Michael Pineda. Erod was having a rough year. Guy has an ERA above 3, a WAR of, I think it was like minus .4 or something. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. He was having a rough year. Then he got injured, and now he's on the restricted list for personal issues. I'm not going to speculate on anything involving that. I'm just going to leave that where it is. But the point is, this doesn't make Al Avila look good. Next example, Javier Baez. Javier Baez was the big one, the one that everyone was really happy about, was so thrilled about, because this was the alternative to Carlos Correa. This was the alternative we were given. Javier Baez is having a pretty bad year. Guy's batting .200 at the plate. Doesn't even have a WAR of 1. I mean, other than that, he's not doing good. He's striking out a lot. He's looking exactly like the player that he was last year. Too aggressive at the plate, no plate discipline whatsoever, and just swinging it way too much. So, yeah, it's exactly why I wasn't too thrilled when they signed him. The last guy, Michael Pineda, he's not really all that in a bag of chips either. Once again, injured. I think. I don't know when the hell he's supposed to pitch again or when the last time he pitched was. Honestly, it feels like forever since I've seen him. He wasn't really lighting anything up. He was alright in his first start, but that's about it. After that, he fell off the face of the planet. And now, like I said, I can't even remember the last time he started. So, and this is just an ongoing theme. I can't, off the top of my head. The only other guy I can think of is Mike Fiers. Yeah. Avila is not a good GM. He will not be a good GM. He's never going to be. So why is Chris Ilitch taking his damn time with this? I don't think it's that hard. I think Avila needs to be out of a job. He needs to be fired. Done. They need to start looking for a new GM. And don't hand me this, well, Chris Ilitch sucks. You actually trust him to look for a GM? Yeah, I do. Because that's literally the same as like, oh, well, this sucks, but let's not change our situation at all because what we get might be worse. Where's the ambition here? Come on. Now, I'm not a fan of Chris Ilitch, but you know what? He's the owner of the Tigers, and nothing will change that. He might as well do us a favor and give us something to watch. Give us something to look forward to in our baseball team. I've had it. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of trying my best to believe in this team and it going nowhere. I want to be happy for this team. I want to be thrilled. The Tigers are the last team I need to see win a World Series. The last team I root for in sports that I have yet to see win a championship. I've seen the Pats win 6. I've seen the Red Wings win 4. I've even seen Michigan football win a Big Ten championship, and they've won 3 and something like that in my lifetime. Off the top of my head, I might be wrong. The point is, the Tigers, last time they won the World Series was in '84. I was born in 1992. So, yeah, those of you wondering how old I am, I'm 30. Or I'm gonna be 30. Anyway. That's really all I have to say about this. If I didn't convince you, fine. I don't know what will at this point. Guys, look, it's been 7 years. I know Riley Green has looked pretty good. Spencer Torkelson has just kind of been a disappointment for the most part. He needs to honestly go back down to Toledo, I think. Yeah. I just don't see a defense for Avila at this point. But if you have one, throw it in the comment section below. Or do you agree with me? Do you feel my frustration here? Do you think Chris Ilitch needs to get up off his ass and do his job as an owner and fire Avila, extend A.J. Hinch, and together they go and look for a new GM? Because I think that's what needs to happen. In its simplest form, I think that's what needs to happen. So, anyway, guys, you let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, stay awesome. If you enjoyed this video from CuJo Productions, please consider subscribing, check out my Redbubble page for all my merch, and hit the bell icon so that you're notified for every time I upload a video. As always, stay awesome, guys.